Hello there, my mate Vince here, and welcome to part 53 of this never-ending series on the Rolls Royce Silver Spirit. So first up, let me apologise for having my hood up. It's bitterly cold here at the moment in the UK, and it's a lot easier to stay warm than get warm once you're cold. So right now I'm all wrapped up, my body temperature's warm, so I should stay warm throughout the day as long as I wrap myself up. Now you might wonder what on earth I am doing here. Before you get your pitchforks out and prepare to crucify me, let me just explain that I have around 4 or 5 cans of base coat in the shed and about 5 cans of 1K clear coat, and they've been bugging me just sat there. And also every time I look at this car, it gets me down because I've done so much work. I don't think people understand how many hours I've put in. Each video can often take 3 days plus another day editing, and it hasn't really made any difference. When I look at a car, it looks worse now than it did when I bought it, which is really upsetting because I've done so much to it. When you think about all the welding I've done, all the electrics I've done, all the things to do with the pressurized suspension and braking that I've done, but yet it still looks like a pile of SH1T. So what I'm doing is I'm going to give it a bit of a Rattle can respray. And that way then, I'm hoping that I'll enjoy looking at it more. I've already got the can, so I've got nothing really to lose apart from time. Also then, when I take it for the MOT, I'm going to be less embarrassed because right now the car's a complete mess. And then when I do get it properly resprayed, it means I've bought myself some time. If it's not ready for getting it resprayed in the summer, then if the car looks half decent without a professional respray, then I won't be under so much pressure to actually get a respray done, because right now this car is an embarrassment. It looks like a banger car, but if I can make it look somewhat decent, then I will be happy. Now let's make this clear, I am not trying to get a Rolls Royce finish. I know I can't do that. I'm not trying to even get a professional respray finish. I'm just trying to get something that looks better than it does now, so when it whizzes past you on the street, you're not going to point and laugh, basically. That's what I'm hoping to go for. So what my plan here is to do the front door, the back door and the front wing. And what I'm doing is I'm using 800 grit wet and dry to give the paint a little bit of a key, and also to try to sand back some of the paintbrush strokes that I put in before. So when I took the wrap off, the bodywork was already ruined because it had grey primer everywhere where it had previously been filled, but it had been filled very well because to put a wrap on it really needs to be very smooth underneath. I went ahead and then ruined it by using basically a paintbrush and then the sander you're seeing in this video, but with something like 80 grit sandpaper, well, wet and dry. Now I'm using 800 grit wet and dry, so all it's doing is giving the existing paintwork a bit of a key. And then I'm using the correct colour, the graphite metallic from with the Rolls Royce paint colour code, and I'm just putting on numerous layers of base coat. Once I put the base coat on after numerous layers, hopefully it will have an even covering of colour, and then I need to put the 1K clear coat on. I personally would like to use 2K, I know it's much better, but I'm doing this outside and I haven't got the protective equipment for myself and also for other people in the area to be using 2K, so I know it would give me a much better finish, but I haven't got a garage with ventilation and one of those suits all masked up with proper ventilation to be using 2K, so I'm not going to be using it because it's got those nasty chemicals in it. I also unfortunately have to get rid of Aylesbury duck. I have taken pictures off Aylesbury duck, so hopefully I can get some little stickers made up for the windows somewhere, but yeah, the duck has to go. I know that's going to upset a lot of people, but the duck can't stay. Yes, so that's it. I'm just going to get on with it. Let me play a little bit of music. Hopefully it might be quite nice seeing this fast forwarded through. In reality, all this part here probably took me around 6 hours because there's a lot of sanding and stuff that went on off camera. In this episode today there will be a couple of other little things going on as well, so don't just turn off if you don't like spraying. There will be a couple of other things that I'll look at later in the video. So kick back and enjoy as much as you can.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe. When it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelions into. Was a mutual arrangement we both saw into. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the wind? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'd go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Broke my arm in December. We were running for the thrill. It turned in the canyon to the snowbank where I fell. Even still, I remember knowing she could feel it too. Was a mutual arrangement. We both knew what to do. She had a star on her forehead that was easy to find. When I let down her bridle, saw into her hazel eyes. We had a deep understanding, never had to use it. Was a mutual arrangement and an honest respect. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go beyond the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been?
Oh, this is just so relaxing for me to edit and watch back. I feel like I'm going into a state of hypnosis. It's just, I think it's the rattle can at ×4. Honestly, I feel all the stress just oozing out of my body. I feel like I started up like set upright. I'm just like a blob now on the bottom of the seat. Oh, it's therapy. Right, time to wake up. The massive members this month are kitsdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeves.com, DJ VG, Pixie. Oh, interestingly, I was playing snooker with my friend the other day and I had to give him a code to allow him to play a 4-digit code. It came through as DJ VG. I couldn't believe that. As soon as I seen that, I was like, what the hell? Sorry. Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Berglunds, Soul Reaver 555, the My Mate Vince Fan Club, Tobias Hennig and Astral Red Panda. Many thanks to each and every one of you. I think we have enough time now to play another song before we move on to the next thing in this video. Hope this next part is just as relaxing. Maybe it was the song. That's a shame. It's just started to rain. I wanted to get one more clear coat on, but yeah, that's a shame. Anyway, it might blow over. I'll pack up my tools here, and then maybe I can do a bit of work on the seat on the inside. Well, it is a shame that the rain came down, but I think I got 3 coats off the clear coat. I'm not too sure. I'll have to watch back the video when I'm editing it. I would have liked to have got one more coat on, but that is the way it is. So overall, I mean, we'll have a look at it. Something just made a weird noise. I presume just some cardboard's fallen off outside. Overall, I'm happy with how it went there, and I think once I cut it back, it might actually look not too bad. So it's going to be less embarrassing driving it around the place until I can get a proper respray. So yeah, happy with that. Now, priorities. I bought myself one of these. I've wanted one for a while, but they're always up on like, you know, 80 or 90 pounds. But then this came up, I think, for, I don't know, I think it was 30 something. I put a best offer in at, I think it was 20 something, and yeah, they accepted. Now, it does need to be painted on the inside because it's a slightly different colour than my leather, and also it's been painted. I think originally it was my colour, but I can see that there's it's been painted pretty badly. But I think that will polish up all quite nice, and the idea of that is it goes into this bit here. So the bottom of my one is ever so slightly got a few like scratches and stuff on it. So if this pops in here, then I think it will just finish it off nicely. Now it's a darker colour than here, but I think it's supposed to be, because if you'd have a look at this bit of wood here, this is a darker colour and this matches that. So I think it's all intentional. So yeah, do you know what? I think it might have stopped raining. So hopefully, if it dries, or I can dry, I might be able to get one more coat on, and then I'll be happy with that. Now that's this coming along here. It's okay. It's definitely filling out. So I'm just going to keep on putting a hairdryer on it and applying more and more filler, and then hopefully we might be able to. No, I won't be able to get it sanded today because you need to leave it for 2 hours before you sand anything. But if I can get the right shape, it means I can sand it next time, which will be good. Right, this is looking very fancy in here. Apologies, it is a little bit dark because I'm all taped up. But remember the little light wasn't working for the selection switch here, you know, basically you just tell you what gear you're in. Well, it's very easy to get to. Basically, this is the cowl here, and you undo a screw here and the other side, which go into here and here, and then the top cowl just lifts off. And then there's 2 tiny little Phillips screws just here and here, and then basically this comes off here. Yeah, that was very dusty and dirty in here, so I've just rubbed my thumb over that. And look, there's a tiny little light in here, and it's got one of those little green diffusers on. So I wonder, has it gone? Or, I mean, how, I can't even see how I think these are screw from memory. I'm just trying to unscrew it with 2 fingers. I bet this is working, you know. I wonder whether it's some kind of earth problem where it's not making a good connection, and that's why they went over to an LED on this one here, you know, to pass the MOT. There we go, I'm out. So it's one of these tiny, tiny, tiny little bulbs. Let me get my multimeter and take this sleeve off. Maybe I can just take the sleeve off and that will give more light, because I'm not bothered about it being a little bit bright, you know. Let's get the multimeter and see if that's working. Okay, annoyingly the bulb is okay. So what I'm going to do is, I think there's a problem I think there's a problem with basically the whatever circuit is feeding the instrument panel. I mean, it could be because there's an LED in circuit and now that little thing down here is not working, you know, to dim. I can't see where it is at the moment, but you know, to dim the internal lights. Maybe because the LEDs in circuit is throwing all that out. I'm not too sure. For the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the green thing in the glove box so I don't lose it, but I'm going to put it in without the green thing, and let's see then if it lights up more, because the green thing is going to be blocking out a lot of light. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brand new one in, but I'm still going to leave the green thing off, just in case. This might have continuity, but it might not be very bright, just like the number plate light that we did quite a few episodes back. That had continuity, yet it wasn't producing much light at all. So let me put a new one in, and if it's really burning brightly, then I can put that little green diffuser thing back on, but I don't think it will be. Now, my fingers are pretty small, but basically I still can't get that in. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the wire from the back here, and then I'm going to take this out, and then that will allow me basically to put the bulb in just here. And then I can screw it back in. It's just 2 small Phillips screws again. There we go. This thing here just reminds me of, I don't know why, something like a Spitfire. It just looks amazing. Have a look at the way the selector thing works. So let's just shine that up here, and now move the selector, and you will see it's moving all along the back there. Can you see? On all the different contacts. And look at the spring. Can you see the spring just here? It just looks so English and so old. I don't reckon that's been changed. I bet that was the same in the shadow as well. Looks amazing. Right, annoyingly, I've screwed the light back in, but I've done it upside down, and what happens is now it's fouling the selector switch. So when I move this down here, it's hitting this wire going into it. So I'm going to have to spin it around the other way, and then the wire will be up top, and then it will allow the selector switch to clear that. It's completely obvious when you see it, so you can see where the wire attaches should go up the top, while I had it on the bottom like that. So it just needs to be spun round. Then let's see now if it's going to light up. So I have to put the ignition on, don't I? Make sure I'm in park. Oh look, it's very dim. I'm not going to put, but it is there. I'm not going to put the green thing on that. That is very dim. Let me see if this makes a difference. The panel dim. Turn that up there. No, I wonder now. I think, you know, I've got a problem with this panel dim here, because when I'm turning that, it's not making any difference at all. Let me turn it now. Yeah, I'm keeping the green thing off that. By keeping the green thing off that, I think at least then it will be hopefully readable. With the green thing on, you can barely see it at all. In fact, why is it getting bright now? It seems to be coming and going, doesn't it? Or is it just this light shining into it? That's dimmer now. Why is it going dim and bright? That is interesting. Right, let's wiggle our little panel dim down here. Has it got anything to do? No, I haven't touched the panel dim there. So it's just coming and going, isn't it? I do not know why that is just doing that. I wonder, is that the circuit, or is... Whoops. Scared the life out of me. I hit the horn. Is that the circuit, or is it something to do with my with the connection? That's just me pulling it out the back. Just going to leave it there for a few seconds without touching anything. Seems to be quite... Oh no, there you go, it's gone. That's interesting. I don't know what could be causing that. Anyway, let's put it back together without the green thing and see if it's now readable. Now, if it's made any difference, I gave this a clean, I gave the white thing a clean, so the white thing was very black, so that would also diffuse the light. Here goes. Ooh. Oh. Yes, thank you very much. We'll have to see it at night time when it's fully dark, but look at that. You can see now which one you're on. Can you see the little arrow there? Do you know what? It's gone again, hasn't it? So when you first will turn it on, it is quite bright, but then it dims down. I'd have to see it at night time. Surely it has to be a bit bright without the green thing. But that's very, very hard to see. Well, the main thing is that we now can physically see that the light is getting bright and dim. So yeah, that needs to be worked on. If you could let me know, is it something to do with that there's an LED in circuit which has thrown off the resistances? So this rheostat thing here is not doing what it needs to do. Maybe it's just on super dim all the time, which is not what I want. Oh well, I think it will be slightly better, but not as good as I had hoped. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day for today. I am very happy with how it's gone today because it's a bit of a kind of glory job, isn't it? Now, obviously, it's not a proper respray, but it looks much better than it did, and it hasn't even been flatted back and shined yet. So beforehand the door was all mottled and there was just, you know, the Aylesbury duck, which obviously was fantastic, but now imagine now when I get all the cardboard off it and it's polished up, I think it's gonna look much better. Still awful and nothing like a Rolls Royce finish and nothing like any professional finish. But I think if it was in a car park or you were driving down the road, I don't think people would be pointing and laughing. So obviously when they get up close they will be pointing and laughing, but not from a bit of a distance. So yeah, really happy. So I am going to buy some more spray cans. The idea was just to use up what I've got, but I think I went through 2.5 base coats there, and I think I did about 1.5 top coat there. So they do actually go quite a long way. It suddenly looks more regal. I'm so happy with it. I really am happy with that. You know, it really is soul destroying. So I asked Alexa, is it going to rain today? No, in my area. Looked at the weather forecast, no rain. And I get down here and I've just spent 2 hours taping up the back there and getting that rear wing ready. And I got the paint can out, started to shake it, and I noticed a few drops coming down. It dropped little bits for about 20 minutes and then it's just now coming down. It's not torrential, but it's heavy. So irritating. But it's I don't know, it looks bright enough in some areas. Can't quite see which way the wind's blowing. They just seem to be sat there. If there was a bit of wind, it might move them along a little bit. But I'm hoping it will clear up. The car's going to take quite a while to dry now, which is unfortunate. So it might be a bit of a wasted visit, which is a real shame. That's come along nicely though. So I reckon about another 4 or 5 fills and that will be done, which is good. Blue skies! I managed to get 3 coats of base paint on there, and so far I've got 1 coat of clear coat. And what I'm doing is I'm going up to this line roughly here, so then I can do the same on the other side, and then I can do the middle of the roof. And I've gone all the way down to here. Yeah, because there's too much to do in one go. But basically, if I get another 2 lots of clear coat on here, and that'd be 3 lots of clear coat, I'm really happy with how it's coming along. Now I'm going to do a little bit of cutting back on this one here, so flattening and polishing, and I'll do the door and the rear door if I have time, but I won't do the rear wing because that's only just been done. I hope this is enough to do here. It's only 24 hours, maybe I should be leaving it longer, but I'm going to give it a go and see what it looks like. So what I am going to be using is 1500 grit to begin with. I've watched Adam from Norfolk Man Cave
So he's done a few videos on spraying and also flatting back as well, really interesting. So I'm going to be starting off with 1500, making sure it's nice and wet, and then I'm going to be going over to 2000, and then I'm going to be using a polishing compound, G10 and G3. No, sorry, G3 first, then G10. This is all just copied straight from Adam's from Norfolk Man Cave, but obviously he knows what he's doing. He's got the proper tools. I haven't got a rotary mop thing. I've only got a dual action polisher, but you know, as long as it looks better, I keep saying it, but as long as it looks better than it did before, I'm going to be happy. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Okay, so that's the 1500 grit done on the two doors and the front wing, and you can see when it dries it kind of goes a more dull colour. So now I'm going to go over with the 2000 grit. The reason I'm not filming it is because, believe it or not, farcical, I know, I forgot to bring my camera, so I'm just doing this on my phone, but I already did a video on a Rattle can respray when I did this one here. That wing there, so there's no point in just repeating what I did earlier. So let me go over it with now 2000, and then I'll do a little bit of filming again. Right, I'm beginning to lose light now, so I'm just going to show you this before it gets too dark. You can see now the shape of it is really coming along now. I'm very nearly there. I'm not going to be able to sand it back today. It's taken an incredibly long amount of time, but I think the shape will be there once I sand that. I don't think your eye will be drawn to it. It's obvious that it's going to be a repair because it's going to be all smooth, isn't it? There's not going to be cracks like the rest of the leather. I have put a little bit of filler elsewhere, but you know, I don't want to do the whole seat. And this is it now, flatted back with 1500 and 2000. So now I'm going to use the dual action polisher that was fixed up in a T-brake repair ages ago. Can't remember the viewer that sent it in. I think it was Ben. Apologies, Ben, if I've got that wrong. But I think it was Ben. And then I've got this G3 and G10. So I'm going to be using G3 because that's the rougher one out of the two, and then finishing up on G10 with this one here. So yeah, I'm just going to be working my way around it. Hopefully then it will bring a bit of shine back onto it. Okay, so I've given it one go over with the G3, so the corset out of the two of them. And basically, when Adam did his one and it dried, he just wiped it off after the G3, not the G10. And it just looked amazing. You could see all the reflections of the trees. This looks more like you've gone to a fun fair and you've gone in the Hall of Mirrors. There's no point in me going over to the G10. I might as well keep on with the G3. My worry is that I know on the back wing today I've put a good heavy 3 coats, probably even 4 coats of top coat, so I've got a lot to play with. I can't remember what I did here. I definitely did 2. I'm not sure whether I did 3 or not, but I haven't got much to play with. If I put on 10 coats, I could be cutting this back all day long. It wouldn't really matter. But you see, I don't want to cut back too much, because then what will happen is I'll go back to the base colour, and then I'll be in a whole heap of pain where I'll have to do more top coat again. So yeah, leave it with me. I'm going to go over with G3 again and again and again. Hopefully then it might start to get a bit of buffness to it. That's the G3 and the G10 done on the front wing. And there is a little bit of shine to it, a little bit. See the reflection of the window there. Not a huge amount, but there is a little bit. Anyway, the main thing is that now that the Aylesbury duck's gone, if that was parked up, you're not going to look at it and think, oh my word, why is there a banger racing car here? It's nothing like a finish off a car, and it's certainly not like a Rolls Royce finish, but it's definitely better than it was. Annoyingly, I did a Vincey boo-boo. I slipped when I was doing the buffing, and then I caught the corner off the buffer against this, and it just went ping and shot off a nice chunk, which is irritating, but that's okay. I'll touch that up with just a paint chip stuff, you know, just a tiny little paintbrush. So yeah, I mean, you're probably seeing it in its best light now because it's dark. It's certainly not good, but it's not awful. You can see there the reflection. Yeah, but it's not a mirror finish at all. So now I am going to do the door and the rear door. Hopefully then I can unmask everything here. Well, overall, I think I'm happy with it. I can see reflections there. It doesn't look all bumpy and all over the place. As I say, it's not going to look like a finished car, but I don't think your eyes would be drawn to it too much. Consider it's out of a Rattle can. I'm really very pleased with the results. think it's going to look okay, especially when I give it a bit of a polish. There's still quite a lot of grime on it. You know, if I rub it here, then you know, I need to give it a good, not grime, but just sort of dust and the leftover white polishing compound. But look at that, from a few meters away. Check that out. Oh wow, the duck's gone, and once I unpeel everything, I think that's going to start to look like a finished car. And then the pinstripe, I've got to decide what I'm going to do, because I've purposely didn't sand it back so I can see where it's supposed to go. I don't know whether to try to do it by hand. Obviously I wouldn't do it by hand, I mean put tape on and actually try to paint it on, or you can just buy decals. You can buy decals off eBay where you get one of a certain thickness, you know, like I think it's like, I don't know, 3mm and one's 2mm or something, and then they're a little bit apart, which will mimic what I've got here. I remember looking them up ages ago, so I might just get a decal and put it all the way across. Now you're going to think that's naff, and yeah, obviously compared to paint it is, but my friend's got a Rover, and that was put on with a decal, and honestly it looks really, really nice because it's like bright white. So I might get a decal to start with, or it could be another video where I mask it off and try to paint it by hand. Let me know what you think. It's just if I do it by hand and it goes wrong, it's going to be a bit disastrous. But then if I was to mask it up, as long as it didn't leak through, which it might do, but if it didn't leak through, I mean a painted one would certainly be better. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Should I just get a decal and put it on probably in about an hour? Or should I spend a couple of days trying to paint the pinstripes on by masking off? I'd never do it by hand. I'm well happy with that.
So that is it for part 53. Join me again for part 54. We're going to be working on sanding the seat back and painting it, and then trying to make it look old again, and also buffing up the rear of this car, and then hopefully one side of it should look nice. Fingers crossed. See you then. Thank you so much for watching.